Hey there, fellas. Look at what I've got. It is a torque converter for an automatic transmission. Plenty of people know what this is, but not as many have cut one open to see what's inside. And today we're looking to figure things out. Make us a transparent torque converter to see what goes on inside of it. Let's go. At the very least, we need the shafts from the gearbox, especially the input shaft that goes into the torque converter itself. So we tear down the auto box, pull out whatever we need, and we might even learn a few things about how a torque converter works along the way. While we're at it, we're going to cut the torque converter open to learn more about its inner workings. So look here, guys. The idea of this video was, of course, to make a transparent torque converter, but you see, here's the thing. We know how one of these works. Over here you've got a pump, you've got the parts that feed it the return. Also you've got the reactor, and this has actually got a bunch of different circuits. And you need to get the fluid whirling before it goes into the reactor to get it to work as a turbine. And to be completely honest with you, making all of it transparent, well, we really have no idea how it can be done. Making just the housing transparent, we won't be able to even see half of what's inside, because this inner bagel-shaped piece is also a closed unit made from metal. So what's the point even? And so in order for us to be able to actually see how the fluid moves around, well, we're gonna need to simplify this somehow. And the simple way to go about this would be to make a hydraulic viscous coupling. One that would contain blades, fluid, circulation, but would have a somewhat simpler design than a proper torque converter. Okay, let's do this. So at the moment, guys, that lovely 3D printer of ours is printing a lovely ring. And this ring will serve as part of the primary housing, because literally everything is going to tie into this ring. The walls, the blades, I mean everything. So we're going to print this basic element, and after that, we're gonna try and figure out where we go from there. Right, let's print the ring and see what comes out of it. Setting up 3 loops is not going to be easy. We won't be able to manually. But I have an idea. What if we were to make the blades, we don't make a turbine shape, because how are we going to do that ourselves? But what if we shape them like this, and make them like this on the center shaft? Only problem is, so the way these move the fluid, well, it moves around in a centrifugal manner, but then this is holding it back. But what if we were to make a few reliefs over here, and some sort of tubes through which the fluid will be delivered back to the middle portion of the turbine? And so that way it'll go full circle, in a loop. Not bad. And it's even more difficult at the start. Speed it up. Now we'll slow it down, you see? We'll try filling it with water. But even as it is, it works. This part we can leave alone. But these blades need to be reprinted. Oh, wow. So much more forceful. I can't even hold this with my hand. I'm barely holding the larger bit. Alright, we got the mock-up to work, and that is terrific. Now we just need to make an oversized copy of it to fit to a car. So we took a bit of LDPE pipe, cut out a piece of the right width, and now it's a matter of evening and straightening out the edges, and getting the thing to the right size. Here's the machine, here's the ring. Sadly, this wouldn't fit on a lathe, but we'll use this milling machine instead. Yeah, let's even it out. Like this blue bit right here. You see it's got rings? We're also going to need to make an internal ring. And in between, so we're going to need 4 rings. And in between them, we're going to place our turbine fans. The outer blades for this homemade torque converter of ours are going to be made out of 2mm thick steel sheet. Like this, I guess. Here it'll be at 90 degrees, while over here it'll be like this. Yeah, it's all the way down to the floor, but thanks to a tiny slot, we'll have it like this. Yeah, Check this out, guys. We are slowly getting there. Here we have the ring that we were trying to get the right size. We were able to make some blades. And this actually looks quite good. Over here we've left quite a bit of a gap. The idea being, while the diameter is pretty big, but this is where the second loop is going to be. The primary blades are going to get the fluid moving, which is to say that it's going to be forced this way. The fluid is going to flow towards the secondary blades. They are going to start moving as well, allowing for torque transfer. We'll be making a nice sturdy frame for our homemade torque converter. Perhaps if we have this centerpiece, we could set up some kind of straight shaft, cut out some sort of pegs in it, to fit this diameter, right? We have made the shaft that's going to connect to the crankshaft. This is the sleeve that the blades will connect to, and the blades are what we're now going to make. Here's where we're at with this. The housing with the blades is complete. It's going to get the fluid moving. Here we have the shaft. We are currently in the process of piecing this lovely shaft together. We've got some bearings, everything is good. Here we have another sleeve. And this is where things get interesting. You see, we need to make some blades for this sleeve. The ones that are going to get the shaft to spin once the fluid starts to flow. We still need to figure out the width and angle they need to be at. But I mean, I guess we'll try and see then, huh? This is going to involve some trial and error. I reckon we'll make them into the shape that we fancy the most. And with that, let's carry on. I am now going to figure out the blades. Well, I mean, I've already started making them. I've made one that's going to serve as the template. And now I'm going to do my best to make these 5 the same shape. Given that the inner blades are directing the fluid downward, To prevent vortices from forming over here, right here we'll be welding in a plate. We'll have something of a channel over here. The water, I mean the fluid, will enter from underneath, flow upward, and get the large round thing going. Okay, we've welded up all of the parts for our homemade torque converter. We've made them, painted them. The paint is dried. Now we're going to piece it all together, turn it all into one unit, and fit some transparent covers. So our homemade torque converter is going to be placed in between the gearbox and the axle. And in order to get everything connected, we've dusted off this old bit for the GTD. Now we just need to source a few unis, and then we'll fit everything to a car. The angle of the prop shaft at the uni is off slightly. So now we're going to slice the trailing arms and turn the axle slightly to reduce the angle and for everything to fit properly. Okay, so we've slid this piece of rubber onto the shaft, but this being reinforced, the imbalance, I'm trying to say that it's too hard. So instead, we'll try and fit a piece of tire tube. We want to use it to compensate for the wobble, because this particular piece of rubber is way too hard. Alright, here's how we've got the viscous coupling installed inside the car. And we did have to make a few minor changes to it. You see, to be completely honest with you guys, the plan was for it to work differently. For the outer portion to spin up and move the fluid, then transferring torque to the inner bit. But we've decided to go a slightly different route. That's because we had certain doubts about how to make the blades and what to use to get the fluid moving. And ultimately, we came to the decision that the inner blades should be moving the fluid, just like on that mock-up we made. While the outer ones, as soon as the fluid starts getting them moving, will transfer the torque further onto the prop shaft, as you can see right here. Are you sure it's gonna work? It doesn't have much of a choice, as long as it doesn't leak, with how complex this unit is. Alright, we are ready, we've filled in some fluid, and now it's time for the first startup. Okay, engine is running. And for starters, I think we should spin the shaft to see what... oh. Holy cow, is it engaging aggressively? Oh, you can see the liquid flowing, check that out. It's getting pulled from the edges. And is being sent, I mean, look at that. Even the bubbles that have found their way inside are helping us out and serving some sort of purpose. Thanks to them, you can clearly see how things are flowing. This is so cool, I mean, look. We can see in real time how the fluid is moving around inside that drum. And what's really interesting is that even when rotating so slowly, the rim is trying to get moving. Look at that. Yeah, you can see the fluid circulating. Right, there is a slight imbalance, but I think it's on the prop shaft side of things. This is such a cool picture. Right away, it's trying to transfer the rotation, and so I suggest we release the car then. Because right now it is being held from trying to set off. But let's go ahead and free it. And try driving around. Because that torque converter should be able to transfer the torque pretty well indeed. Alright, engine started. Into gear. Yeah, so that's because of the propeller shaft. Okay, here we go. We are moving. Okay, I see the unis are binding ever so slightly. Those are some impressive angles, but no big deal. Brought the revs up. And now this is going so much better. Check that out. The car is moving, the water, I mean, you'd think, well, you got two fans in an enclosure with water circulating in between them. One fan is moving the fluid. The fluid in turn is moving the second fan that propels the shaft. And as a result... oh, there's some water splashing, something has let go. But no big deal. The important thing is this works. And it is so fun the way it works, man. Now this of course is a big and cumbersome thing, but I mean, look at it. It is turning, spinning. We are looking very good. And it's not even filled with transmission fluid, I mean... obviously fluid is supposed to lubricate a bunch of stuff. It is somewhat thicker, it's got higher viscosity. That, of course, makes for better torque transfer. But let's not forget that we've based this on a primitive design. This is a very rudimentary viscous coupling. Not exactly a true torque converter. And it is raining in here. Yeah, this is neat. Honestly, this is a cool thing. Even the water has been sprayed all over the car. But I mean, hey. Also, I can easily change gears on this end. I just press the clutch upshift without a single issue. Right, okay, I'll drive for a bit more in the rain, but I do need to flip around. You will see that the fluid is evacuating the torque converter, and it would seem as if torque transfer is gradually degrading. Though that's actually somewhat akin to oil leaking out of a regular automatic transmission. I mean, the speed at which the fluid moves around inside the converter is just... mind you, the engine is turning at just 3,500 RPM. And I've got the gearbox in first. Yes, there is a gearbox in between it and the engine. Oh, well. The important thing is I drove around, observed it, and the speed at which the fluid circulates is insane. And there's the torque converter, it works, it's awesome. And what's also important is that it gave us a look inside. This demonstrated to us that it works. I mean, we all understand the theory more or less, but a visual representation, I'd imagine this is something just a handful of people would have seen, whoever designed these, or have done experiments of their own. But this was great, hopefully you enjoyed it. You saw it all, the speed at which the fluid circulates, and the speed is truly impressive. And that's with the engine turning at low revs. But yeah, this was a good one. Anyway, watch us, subscribe, don't be afraid to experiment, and that's it for this video. Catch you guys later.